What's up, YouTube? This is MouthWiz97 and welcome to episode number 52 of my WWE 2K16 Universe Mode, coming to you from Houston, Texas for this edition of Main Event, the go-home edition of Main Event prior to the Survivor Series pay-per-view. And we're kicking this one off with, I guess you could say, a tag team implosion of sorts. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. As you see, Samoa Joe defeated the Great Khali. The Wyatt family picked up a tag team victory over the Party Animals. And Zack Ryder, a victory over Alberto Del Rio. Those were our matchups earlier on. But this matchup, you could call it an implosion, but I don't think that's the proper term. These two men, they kind of had a mutual agreement that their tag team partnership, it wasn't really working out too well. No real success on the part of either man. So, they decided, you know what, we're going to split. We're going to have this matchup tonight. We're really going to see who's been holding the other man back, if that's even the case. Who just is the better man. These two men, they still respect each other, but yeah, they've just realized that it's time that they go their separate ways, try to pursue their singles careers, and I guess we'll see who's going to be the bigger success. Will it be Curtis Axel, or will it be Damien Sandow? We're going to find out as this matchup gets underway. Axel and Sandow kicking off this edition of Main Event, as Damien Sandow whips Curtis Axel off the ropes, and big back body drop there from Sandow, and he follows it up with a kick right to the back of the head of Curtis Axel. But Axel, back body drop of his own. Beautiful counter from Axel. As now Axel drops an elbow right into the heart of Damien Sandow. And now Axel just bashing the head of Damien Sandow off of the mat. We want to talk about the history of these two men. Damien Sandow, he has just always been the guy who's overlooked. Prior to his pairing with Curtis Axel, Sandow really never had a place on the card. He used to be a member of the SmackDown roster, and there was nothing really for him there. Then he came over to Monday Night Raw, and he was able to team up with Curtis Axel, and things have gotten a little bit better there from Sandow. He's gotten a bit more recognition. We see him competing more often than he used to on SmackDown, and matches that have a little bit more meaning. But still, even then, nothing really amounted to much. So Sandow tonight, if he could get a win over Curtis Axel, this could just jumpstart his career, and he could finally get his career on track. As for Curtis Axel, he has tasted brief success here and there. Huge clothesline to the back of the head of Sandow, as Axel turns the tides. Drops the knee into the face, into the back of the head, driving the face of Sandow into the mat. But Curtis Axel, for him, I mean, he's had shots at the Intercontinental Championship, the United States Championship, at Vengeance 2 years ago. Well, no, it would have just been last year. What am I saying? WWE 13, last year's Vengeance pay-per-view. Curtis Axel did have a match with Christian for the I'm all over the place. Intercontinental Championship, but unfortunately for Axel, he couldn't get the job done on that night. He was still fairly new, still wasn't quite ready for it. But then he had a very important match with oh my god, I can't talk. This is what happens. I just did the State of the Channel video, so I've been talking for like an hour. My apologies. I know this video will be up much later than that State of the Channel video, but that's just giving you some justification. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. Curtis Axel, at Survivor Series, he had a match with Daniel Bryan, which he also lost, but he really took Bryan to his limit. And then, fast forward a little bit further, he was also a part of the tag team Viva Perfecto. Wait a minute, Damien Sandow with the Kobito Akiyet, the elbow of disdain, the cover, 2. No, kick out by Axel at 2. But Axel, he was a part of the Viva Perfecto tag team. That tag team did implode, thanks to Alberto Del Rio. And after that, Axel, he did pick up a victory over Del Rio, got himself into a United States triple threat match at Over the Limit, but he just couldn't get the job done. And ever since then, I mean, he was in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but, I mean, he tried to go for the briefcase before anybody else even made it to the ring, but in the end, it just didn't pay off for him. And now we get to this night as Axel nails what was once known as the McGillicudder, and he hooks the leg on Sandow. Victory is not at hand, however. Sandow kicks out at 2. So this really is a matchup, a breakout matchup for both of these men. Whoever can win lines themselves up right in that United States Championship division, and it sets himself up for a better future. Coming out of this tag team with a victory, it puts the other man down, and it helps you move forward in the rankings, but Axel misses that attempted fist drop from the top rope, and Damien Sandow, swinging neck breaker, taking down Curtis Axel. And now Sandow could be sizing him up, ready to go in for the kill. As Axel stumbles to his feet, here's Sandow. Arms are hooked, and he nails it. The You're Welcome connects, and Sandow hooks the leg on Axel. 2, 3, Sandow gets the win. He defeats Curtis Axel tonight on Main Event. A strong victory there for Damien Sandow, nailing the You're Welcome. And he puts Curtis Axel to bed. Sandow has just proved that he is the better man of this tag team. Axel, he might have more experience in competition. He might have more success to this point. But according to that matchup, the future shows that Damien Sandow will be the man who could very well have the brighter future of the two. As now we move on to our main event of Main Event. This one is a tag team matchup as Kid and Swagger make their way down to the ring, looking to get themselves back into tag team championship contention, at least heading into the Fastlane pay-per-view, which will be coming up after Survivor Series. We already know that at Survivor Series, the Lucha Dragons will be taking on the team of Finn Balor and Hideo Itami. But Kid and Swagger, a victory in this matchup could put them in good standing heading into the next pay-per-view. But first of all, they got to go through this tag team. Thank you, Mr. Announcer Guy. The Vaudevillians. That is what awaits the team of Tyson Kidd and Jack Swagger. Simon Gotch and Aiden English. They burst onto the scene about a month ago when they got their tag team victory over the New Day, and since then they've been picking up victories over tag teams aplenty. We saw them defeat the Usos on the last episode of SmackDown, and now tonight they're going up against former #1 contenders for the tag team titles at Night of Champions. They already defeated two-time #1 contenders in the Usos, and if they could defeat Kid and Swagger tonight, they would definitely line themselves up for something big, something bright in their future. And hopefully something with a little more color than this black and white entrance. But hey, that's what makes them unique. These two, bit of a throwback tag team of sorts. But there's one thing that these two men, actually there's more than one thing that these two men represent. It's two things, mainly. The first of all is manliness. You can just tell by this intro that these two men are the epitome of manliness. But as well as that, with manliness must also come chivalry. Because, let's face it, you gotta be respectful to your opponents. That's ultimately what's going to gain you respect in this industry. If you want to be a success, you must gain respect. And to gain respect, you must show respect. And that's what the Vaudevillains are all about. Definitely a much more old school style of thinking nowadays. There are people in the locker room who aren't really about respect. They just want to make a name for themselves. It's all about themselves. But the Vaudevillains, they just try to go out here and they show everybody an equal amount of respect unless you give them a chance to think otherwise. in which case they will just beat you down with an unyielding aggression. You don't want to try to take advantage of the Vaudevillians' chivalry, because it will come back to bite you. As Simon Gaucho and Jack Swagger kicking this matchup off. Slingshot suplex from Gaucho. One thing you would expect if these two men were to square off is a technical bout as Gaucho. Talk about a manly elbow drop. 2. No, but Swagger kicks out. Gaucho, definitely a technical wrestler. More of an amateur style of wrestling. And Jack Swagger, of course, he made his name in amateur wrestling. A former 2-time All-American. Also a former United States champion. A former tag team champion in this series. As, oh, Swagger. Punch right to the gut of Simon Gaucho. And Swagger takes him down with an amateur wrestling slam. Jack Swagger just going to work on Gaucho right now, trying to crush the life out of him here. Try to deflate Gaucho. And now, well, we saw some arrogance from Simon Gaucho earlier. And now look at Swagger. Just doing push-ups on the back of Simon Gaucho. Well, that's vintage Swagger right there. Truly is the real American, we the people. But Simon Gaucho, no, counter by Swagger. As he turns that into a jawbreaker. Jack Swagger right now has got control of Simon Gaucho. Wait a minute, Gaucho counter. Look at this counter from Gaucho as he takes Jack Swagger down with a vertical pump handle suplex. Beautiful counter from Gaucho. As now, a headstand headlock, just applying a ton of pressure. All the pressure onto the face, the head of Jack Swagger. Try to cut off the flow of oxygen to the brain. Smart strategy from Gaucho. I mean, it might just look like showing off, but there's some strategy behind it. As Simon Gaucho placing Swagger into the corner. Scoop slam from Gaucho. Swagger is right in position. As Gaucho to the second rope. Elbow drop. Connects. A beautiful one at that from Simon Gaucho. As now, Gaucho has got Swagger on his shoulders and a rolling senton. Usually we would see a tag by this point in the matchup, but so far it is all Gaucho and all Swagger. But Swagger kicks out of the rolling senton. Gaucho misses the knee. Swagger able to roll out of the way. As now, Northern Light suplex to Gaucho. The cover. 2. No, Gaucho kicks out. As Gaucho right now, that Northern Light suplex really caught him off guard. As now he's whipped into the corner. And now we'll see the first tag of the matchup. Jack Swagger planting Gaucho down and a Swagger bomb. But Tyson Kidd's the legal man. We the people, and a double foot stomp from Tyson Kidd. Give the assist to Jack Swagger. As Tyson Kidd looking to follow it up from the second rope. A senton. And Tyson Kidd hooks the leg on Simon Gaucho. 1, 2. No. Kick out from Gaucho. But Tyson Kidd and Swagger. I should say Swagger has done a lot of damage to Simon Gaucho in this matchup. Tyson Kidd, all he's got to do is pick up where Swagger left off. And so far, he's doing a damn good job of that. Knife edge chop to Simon Gaucho. As Tyson Kidd looking to go springboard. Elbow drop from Tyson Kidd. Right to the heart of Gaucho. And Tyson Kidd hooks the leg. 1, 2. No. Gaucho kicks out again. Simon Gaucho will not die. As Kidd delivers a kick to the back, but that one only seemed to fire Gaucho up. There's a forearm to the face, but now Gaucho blocks the punch. Delivers one of his own to Tyson. And now, Irish whip. Kidd bouncing out of the turnbuckle, and there's a snapmare. An elevated snapmare from Simon Gaucho. And now Tyson Kidd. He's in the wrong part of town. Simon Gaucho, the tag is made to Aiden English. And English going right after the arm of Tyson Kidd. As he takes Kidd down with a back suplex. Aiden English the fresh man in this matchup, going to work on Kid. English has been waiting on the apron anxiously this whole time, and now he finally gets a chance to get a piece of the action. A snap power slam to Kid. English hooks the leg. 2. But it's only a 2 count. And a 2 count is all it will remain. English is going to need to do more damage to Tyson Kidd before he can hope to pick up the victory. As Aiden English delivers a kick to the gut. And a springboard sunset flip. Shoulders are down. 2. No. It is again a kick out from Tyson Kidd. But, oh wait, counter. Tyson counters the DDT. Northern Light suplex. Caught English off guard. Oh, and he almost got the 3 counts. He almost caught English off guard, but English was able to kick out. But the fact of the matter is, well, maybe not. I was going to say the damage has been done, but English with a nice counter. And look at this. Beautiful move by Aiden English. And speaking of English, I almost lost mine. Look at this. That could be it. The senton from the second rope. Shoulders are down. 2. No, Swagger's there to break it up. That was almost a wrap, but unfortunately it's not. Oh, and English got caught. English tried to catch Swagger off guard and take him off the ropes. Or take him off the apron, but Swagger, he saw him, and now English is going to pay for it. He might be about to bite the dust. As Tyson Kidd dumps him to the floor. And we've seen this before. Kidd off the ropes. Senton through the second rope. Tyson Kidd launching himself as a cannonball to take out Aiden English. And English may have just made a critical mistake on the part of the Vaudevillians. Tyson Kidd, with that running senton, has just given Kidd and Swagger firm control of this matchup. As Tyson Kidd, he whips Aiden English into the corner, and the tag is made. In comes Swagger. Aiden English, he got caught by Swagger. Oh my God, a pile driver! A spike pile driver from Swagger and Kidd. And now Swagger hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. No, what? English just kicked out of the pile driver. What resilience there from Aiden English. That assisted pile driver, not enough to do him in. But the tides have certainly been turned. The momentum has shifted into the favor of Kidd and Swagger. But English able to catch the knee from Swagger. And he follows it up with a knife edge chop. It almost looked like it was the beginning of the end for the Vaudevillains. But English manages to hang on. Now with Northern Light suplex. Shoulders are down. 2. No, but Swagger kicks out. Gotch looking to dispose of Tyson Kidd over on your left. Meanwhile, no, a counter by Swagger. He blocks the attempted neckbreaker. Kidd dumped to the outside. Gut wrench suplex, no! I should say, it looked like Swagger was about to go for the gut wrench powerbomb, but Aiden English had it well scouted. He was able to counter out of it. And now the tag is made to Simon Gotch. Oh, what a crushing blow there from Simon Gotch right to the gut of Jack Swagger. Could take the wind right out of him. And now English trying to get back to the corner. The tag is made. Simon Gotch, European uppercut into the neckbreaker, the whirling dervish. And that could finish Swagger off for good. Tyson Kidd gets knocked off the ropes. Aiden English wants no interference on this pinfall. 2, 3. The Vaudevillains pick up the win over Swagger and Kidd tonight on Main Event. That whirling dervish, the finishing blow. And the Vaudevillains have done it. They've defeated yet another tag team, former #1 contenders. We could be looking at the next #1 contenders. The Vaudevillains have been doing a bang-up job, I must say, since making their debut. But that is it for this episode of Universe Mode. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep on YouTubing.